Hello everybody, this is John Felt. Welcome to the NCGA FMC Ag Weather Outlook, April 11th, 2015. It was a very active week over parts of the Corn Belt with severe weather and heavy rain. You can see the two primary areas that have been very busy have been over southern parts of Wisconsin into central Michigan, and then over parts of the eastern Corn Belt, especially the lower eastern Corn Belt, from parts of southern Illinois, Indiana, large part of Ohio, and large part of Kentucky. Look at those two streaks of red there. That's indicating estimates of 5 inches of rain. So right in here, and this is where our soils are going to be the wettest. We're going to have a lot of excess precipitation right in these bands. Also these darker shades of orange, which is indicating over 4 inches. Wouldn't rule it out as well over the areas in yellow, but that's not quite as much. Now, if we look at where the severe weather was that we saw in the media, a lot of severe weather, especially the tornadoes up to the northwest of the Chicago area. Also some tornadoes over the central part of Illinois and just west of St. Louis. The W's there, blue W's, are indicating high winds above 58 miles an hour and also a lot of hail. So this time of year we do get a lot of severe weather. We're getting towards the peak, so it's not necessarily uncommon that we got this severe weather. It's very unfortunate though for those areas, especially the areas in the tornado area in Chicago, near Chicago. So the past percent of normal over the last 7 days, a couple things I wanted to point out is certainly the excessive rainfall in these bands that I just mentioned, but also that it remains quite dry over parts of the upper Midwest. Now, the western parts of the Dakotas did get some rain, but generally the eastern section of North Dakota, this area still remains quite dry. And if we look at the past 30-day, we can see that very clearly. Areas in yellow really need that rain. So when I provide this briefing, let's look at that area, the western Corn Belt, North Dakota, Minnesota, South Dakota, Nebraska, Kansas, parts of Iowa definitely need more precipitation. Eastern Corn Belt has been wet, and you can see from the past 30 days, we're looking at 4 to 8 inches above normal precipitation in this band. So far southern Indiana, northern Kentucky in particular, far southern Illinois, and significant parts of Ohio are trending wet. Look anywhere from 2 to as much as 5 inches or more additional precipitation over just the last 30 days. Still a little bit of cold air around. You can see there was some snow. Doesn't stick around long, but there was a bit of snow. You can see here even some dots in the 2 to 3 inch range. Up in the far northeast part of Michigan or Wisconsin, even a little bit more. Now, sometimes the problems are caused not just by the quantity of rain, but that it never has a chance to really dry out. And that's what we see here. Look at the shades of green here. That's 11 to 15 days out of the last 30. So almost half of the days there's been some rain of 0.04 inches or more in this area. On the other hand, let's look at South Dakota and Nebraska. That's indicating only a couple days in the last 30. So this region here, just a couple days in the last 30 days has there been precipitation. And then in this area here, there's been at least some degree of precipitation over more than half the days. So we really have this dividing line here of the eastern Corn Belt, lots of rain days, western Corn Belt, not many at all. Now, temperatures last week were generally above normal. They were close to normal over the eastern Corn Belt and well above normal over the western Corn Belt. Matter of fact, the western Corn Belt, those areas in red there, that's 6 degrees to 8 degrees above normal. Now, soil moisture, if you want to see where it's wet, I know I've been mentioning this a number of times. I'm sort of focusing your attention on areas that have been wet. This is based on an actual measurement. So you can see there that this is showing the areas in green are the areas that are wettest, but primarily Indiana, Ohio, northern Kentucky, some areas in Missouri, and really even this area here in this medium shade of green. So that gives you some indication of the soil moisture conditions. This is another way to look at it. This is modeled soil moisture. Areas in green are a certain percentile above normal, and areas in red are a certain percentile below normal. And this is really, from a very general standpoint, areas that need rain are the areas in the shades of red, deeper shades of red. Areas that don't need rain because of wet soils are in the shades of green and blue. Now this week we have a system. It seems like we've basically been talking about one strong system per week. This is the area of blue here. This is a jet stream. So we're going to start out the week with the jet stream bowing. We have some of this brown, but by the end of the week, what you're going to see is we have this system pushing through, and that's going to be the main weather story this week. Right now, it does not look like it's going to produce the severe weather like we saw last week. And it looks like the heaviest precipitation is going to be further to the south. But the outcome is going to be, as far as temperatures go, by late this week, by early next week as well, cooler temperatures pushing in for a period of 3 to 4 days. This is for early next week, and you can see temperature anomalies right now are as much as 10 degrees below normal behind this system. So once that system goes through, we're going to have a period of cooler temperatures. Give you some idea on timing. This is late on Wednesday, so right in the middle of the week. Here's your area of low pressure. Here's your deep moisture being pulled up to the north. But you can see, look at this. Look very closely. You see some shading of green. That's very deep moisture. That's coming into the southeast U.S. So that's going to primarily be where the heaviest precipitation is forecast to occur. Now, before I show you how much precipitation, let's look at temperature. I wanted to show you the outlook. This is the 16th to the 21st. And like I said, I don't see any real strong anomalies here other than this cool anomaly. But if you really look at the shades, this is just the first shade of blue. So really, for most of the Corn Belt, as we get into the middle part of the month, I don't see a strong anomaly of temperature one way or the other. Even though it might be a bit cooler than normal, it's not going to be excessively so. And then as we get through the 21st to the 26th here, you can see a little bit stronger cool anomaly over the eastern Corn Belt. But generally speaking, this is just a bit cooler than normal, not strongly cooler than normal, maybe 4 to 5 degrees below normal. So here's your precipitation forecast. And if you're in the southeast U.S., it looks like a soaker of a week. But generally speaking, this is the heaviest precipitation. Looks like it's going to just brush those areas, that wet area of the southern Corn Belt. So it looks like far southern Illinois, southern Indiana, then southern half of Ohio. That area is already wet. It could be getting wetter. On the other hand, areas that need precipitation, it does not look like it's going to occur over the western Corn Belt. It looks like it's going to remain dry, or either that or very light amounts of precipitation. So let's just give you an idea, and this is from a numerical weather model. Now, weeks 1 and 2 are from a shorter term model, global model, and then I'm going to show you an outlook for weeks 3 and 4, and that's more of a long-term climate model. So let's first look at week 1. This goes along with just what I talked about, and look at most of the Corn Belt. There will be some precipitation, but it's going to still average less than normal for the week, or near normal. So normal in the east, below normal in the west, with the exception of that real small little sliver of the southern eastern sections right here that could be above normal, especially Kentucky on south. Week 2, next week. It looks like a quiet week. Next week should be quiet over the entire area. This can change, but right now it looks like a very quiet week next week. Okay, now we shift out to weeks 3 and 4, and 3 and 4 are climate models, and this can change pretty drastically. This is way out there, but let's just see what we see. And the only trend I see is it looks like there could be some more rain. This is week 4 over parts of the western Corn Belt, western Nebraska, central and western Nebraska, and Kansas. That's sort of getting out of our area, but maybe some signs of a bit more precipitation. Elsewhere, normal. So I would have to almost say no strong anomalies in that. So last week I said there'd be some warming of soil temperatures, and here we go. This is the 5 centimeter soil temperature, the current readings. You can see the 50-degree line, how it is pushed up to the north. Let's take a look a couple weeks here. This was on April 4th. This was April 11th, the current. So you can see we have seen some progression northward. And then as we get towards the 16th, we continue to push the 60-degree line further north, and here's your 60. So again, this is the weekly forecast. Take a look. So we do see some progression of the 60-degree line now into Kansas, into central Missouri, and into southern Illinois. So here are your takeaway points from today's briefing. It looks like some modest rainfall this week. Continued dry trend over the west and north. Continued wet over the far eastern Corn Belt. cooler towards the end of the week, and that'll last into early next week. But overall, I don't see any real strong anomaly either for precipitation or temperature one way or the other. We can actually have fairly normal weather, believe it or not. So anyway, that's the weather briefing for this week. I hope you have a good week. We're getting very close. Some areas we're hopefully getting out over the far southern areas. I know it's been very wet, but we're getting very close now. So if you have any questions at all, that's my email. I'm here to answer your questions as well. So if I'm not providing the information you need, let me know so I can add that. I know I do get that occasionally, or if I am, let me know that as well. I'd like to hear from you. Anyway, have a great